I'm waiting for Mary Beth.
Not me.
Where's Mary Beth? Oh, she's right there. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the New Britain Township Board of Supervisors meeting for July 21st, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Okay. The board met in executive session on July 2nd to discuss personnel and litigation matters, and the board met in executive session just before this meeting to discuss personnel and litigation matters. We are very happy to have two presentations today, and I will hand it over to Chief Clauser.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just tonight, we're going to have a swearing in of an entry-level police officer and the swearing in of a new sergeant. So due to the pending retirement of Sergeant Mitchie, we have a vacancy in the police department. We've gone through our process to identify a suitable candidate. It is recommended that Thomas Ford be appointed as entry-level police officer for the New Britain Township Police Department.
Okay. Do I accept a motion for to appoint our new police officer, Thomas Ford?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Great, thanks. Thomas? Anna? Judge?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I know. It's all good stuff. I like seeing them here on their turn.
Yes.
You're joining the prize here. Great. We'll just repeat it for the names. I, Thomas Ford. Do solemnly swear. That I will support, obey, and defend. The Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And that I will enforce the laws of this Commonwealth. And the ordinances of New Britain Township. And that I will discharge my duties of my office. As police officer for New Britain Township. With honor and fidelity. I do further swear. That I will uphold, obey, and enforce. The law without consideration. To a person's race, color, sex. Religious creed, sexual orientation. Age, national origin. Ancestry, handicap, or disability. And that was close.
You're hired. Sign your life away.
Thank you for having an easy last name that I can pronounce. It's my life easy.
All right, for the next presentation, it'd be, we have again, a vacancy of the position of sergeant in the police department. We've conducted an examination last year, actually, for other promotions. Officer Brian Jones is qualified to be a sergeant, the next sergeant, and it's therefore recommended that he be promoted to the rank of sergeant.
Do I have a motion to approve Brian Jones as sergeant for our police department? Bill, do I have a second?
Second.
Mary Beth, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Chief?
Oh.
That's. I love you. Where are that piece, please?
Understand it.
Oh, you did? Oh. Who went with this? This was- Okay, whenever you're ready. Now, he was in earlier, and he said, please take it easy on me, so I, Brian Jones, do solemnly swear that I will support and obey. All right, we'll take it from the top. I, Brian Jones,
I, Brian Jones,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and that I will enforce the laws of this Commonwealth
and will enforce laws of this Commonwealth
and the ordinances of New Britain Township,
and the ordinances of New Britain Township,
and that I will discharge my duties of my office
discharge my office
as Sergeant for New Britain Township
as Sergeant for New Britain Township
with honor and fidelity.
with honor and fidelity.
I further swear
Further swear
that I will uphold, obey, and enforce.
that I will
Uphold, obey, and enforce. Don't worry, you're not the first one.
Jesus.
Uphold. obey, and enforce
No
to reverse race, colors,
There's color sex,
religious creed, sexual orientation,
religious creed, sexual orientation,
age, national origin,
age, national origin,
ancestry, handicap, or disability. Ancestry.
ancestry, handicap.
You got it. Big words, big words. All right.
It's one of those days. Like she can get through the whole. That's true. You never know. You never. Now look to me.
We're gonna go through the Kevlar bus race. I remember when we started here, we were sending to high schools.
Wow. There we go.
Like, did I block it? I'm so smart. You sign in it now, when I get a picture and sign it. Oh, back, I'm back on the table, I got it. Yes, my staff, losing pieces of paper is one of my specialties.
You sign this one?
Okay. Do you want me to sign two before?
You did.
I did? Sure about that. Autograph, sir? Do you want me to do my portion? There you go. All right, go. Always my pleasure.
Take care. Have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Please, we welcome all family and friends that would like to have a picture with their family member and chief and us.
Small ones on the
Ready?
side of that.
Yes. Ready? Can I have two on this side? Or not? Can I have two people on this side? Just kind of balance it out. There you go. There you go. And then we just scoot this way. Yeah, this way. Keep going. Keep going. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good. Thank you. Ready? Okay. All right, ready, folks? Ready, smile.
Thanks so much. Thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate the support.
You can bring us cake.
It's not working.
Here.
73. Is it on auto? Can you hit it to on?
Air conditioning?
I feel like it's on. What's that all?
AC?
It's fine. I'll be all right. Just stuffing.
No, that gets rid of everybody.
If there's any extra cake, we'd be happy to have a piece. Especially since we didn't have dinner. Cause I was at the vet order. Yes. I have a very thorough vet.
Maybe some of those bodies being out in the room real quick faster too.
Okay,
That cleared out.
all right. We just need the door shut.
That's what it, it was just all those people.
Get it.
Thank you, Chief. A wonderful way to start the meeting. Presentation, public hearings, land development. C, public hearing request by Bucks County to rezone 226 Chapman Road. Scott.
Yes, thank you. Yes, as you said, this is an application of Bucks County to rezone one of the a parcel they recently acquired that's adjacent to Peace Valley Park. The rezoning ordinance was advertised on July 3rd and July 10th for tonight's hearing and potential adoption. From the county solicitor's office is Dan Greaser, and I'll let him explain what's going on.
Good evening, board. Like Scott said, my name is Dan Greaser. I'm one of the deputy county solicitors for the county, and thank you for having me here tonight. I'm really here to answer questions that you have about this. It's from our perspective, it's pretty simple. It's a zoning change. It's a zoning map change. The purpose of it is to the watershed district has a larger minimum size requirement than the conservation recreation district, which is 2 acres. The rest of the property all around Lake Galena is all conservation recreation, so it makes sense to us. Happy to have answer any questions you have. Just for some background, the county has obtained the services of an engineer who is looking at the site and the project, and the hopes are to widen the driveway there a little bit. It's a little tight going down to Peace Valley Park to the building there. And then the design improvements will also include some parking lot kind of circulation issues that we deal with often down there. So subject to your questions you have, I'm happy to answer them. I don't want to waste your time though.
How would that request for expanding a driveway change in relation to what it is now to go?
No, that would be a separate application for some type of subdivision, land development application. Really, right now, what we're dealing with is theoretically, the way they're using their property, they're out of compliance with the zoning ordinance. It's a part of the park and supplies and use there. So there was 3 potential options they could take. This option, applying for a variance or a lot consolidation. This was the simplest for both the township as well as the county, is just rezone the parcel, bring that property into compliance, and then any future improvements would be under a separate application, because that's what relate to more. When we spoke with Mr. Greaser, it was down more closer to the rest of the nature center as well.
Any questions from the board?
Is any of the property owned by the county for the park, is any of that preserved or?
Yes, it all is. This property is now as well. Part of the money, the grant funding we got for this property requires us to preserve it for park property for its entirety. So this is all preserved property.
And this is as you're going into the nature center, it's property on the right?
Yeah, if you're driving on New Galena Road and you take a right on Chapman, there's an old house there. It's that parcel right there. It's 2.5 acres. The county owns the property on the other side of the Chapman. Now it'll own all the property on both sides of that road.
Madam Chair, one additional comment. You may not see it again. There was discussion of vacating the couple 100 feet that the township owns. I guess one of the original staff meetings, they were talking about improvements, but since there's no residential properties anymore on that and it's all county property, that's also an option where they would vacate that that way, or we would vacate that and then they would own that, and any improvements basically be a private drive at that point. I think your liquid fuels maps has like 1/10 of a mile of liquid fuels. So Ryan didn't have a objection to vacating that, but that would be another procedure you have to go through instead of the subdivision land development.
And the county it'd be a driveway, for lack of a better term, that the county would maintain. So that would alleviate some township resource requirements too. Not many, I think you said 1/10 of a mile, but something.
We need to close the hearing.
Well, with it being a hearing first, is there any public comment? Participation on the hearing? Seeing none, any other comments, questions from the board? Okay, at this time, we can close the public hearing, and if the board so chooses, action is in order.
If we add this as an ordinance, we'll have to change the numbers of all the other ordinances that follow. Would we not?
We could make this one 2025-05. That wouldn't be an issue. So you'll have one listed that should actually be 1, 2, and 3. The Saldo amendment should actually be number 4 then. And this can just be 2025-05.
Okay. Any questions from the board regarding the change? No. Okay.
You need a motion to close the hearing?
No,
Okay.
just a motion if you're to take action on the ordinance here tonight.
Do I have a motion to accept the ordinance for rezoning of 2026 Chapman Road, ordinance number 2025-6?
5.
5.
I'll make a motion to rezone the parcel specified in the ordinance pursuant to the hearing from watershed to conservation and recreation.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Stephanie and Mary Beth. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Any questions from the public? Please come forward, state your name. If you'd like to lift the microphone up, yeah.
Lucy Jones, 373 Creek Road. And my question is just about, if you do that vacating, who would do the snow removal of that road?
County.
County. Okay.
That's very assertive of me, sorry.
Okay, any other questions from the public? No, I call the question. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, agenda item 5, motion to consider consent agenda. We have consent agenda A, approve minutes from the June 16th, 2025 Board of Supervisors meeting, approve minutes of July 7th, 2025 Board of Supervisors conditional use hearing. C, approve regular bills list as follows, dated July 1st, 2025 in the amount of $131,863.09, dated July 17th, 2025 in the amount of $78,829.29. D, approve prepaid bills list dated June 18th, 2025 in the amount of $87,376.62, dated June 26th, 2025 in the amount of $15,240.55, July 1st, 2025 in the amount of $76,476.70, July 10 in the amount of $22,263.37, and July 17th in the amount of $11,110.99. And Agenda E, approve escrow release number 2 for 324 Schoolhouse Road, Clouser Tree Care / Holly Properties in the amount of $24,832. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions from the board? No. Any questions from the public? No. I call the question. All those in favor, please say aye. Motion passes. Agenda item 6, action items. A, consider a motion to adopt resolution 2025-07 HB 1152 for the EMS. Dan.
Yes, before you have a resolution that would support the House, supporting House Bill 1152, requiring insurance companies to directly reimburse emergency medical service providers for services rendered. Obviously, this is an important bill. It's working its way through the House. The Cato, Bucks County Association of Township Officials has asked for all municipalities to support it. And my understanding is that that's happened. So we're asking for our approval tonight.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
It's about time, and I hope the House finally passes it.
Okay. So I will call the question. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2025-07?
I'll make that motion.
Stephanie, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Bridget? No more questions from the board? Any questions from the public or comment? Since we have some EMS people in the building. Would you like to stand up and come and state your name and address, please?
Holly Polito, 209 Wiltshire Drive. Just wanted to say thank you for the support. Definitely a long time coming for the state.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? No? I shall call the question. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action item B, consider a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-01 New Britain zoning and ordinance 2025-04 Saldo amendments. Scott.
Yes, before you, we've had these long time coming, are the ordinances for the comprehensive zoning and saldo amendments. Both ordinances were advertised on July 3rd and July 10th. Obviously, they've been through our planning commission as well as the Bucks County Planning Commission. They've had their reviews. We have our final drafts in order, and I'll let Mr. Kennard continue from here.
Well, it's been a long time to get to this point. So long, I didn't bring all my notes from like 2.5 years ago. But I do and hopefully this isn't a big issue, but I've continued to receive feedback from planning commission members, EAC members, I believe board members, and even now zoning hearing board members. So what I'm recommending tonight is we make one minor change. It's a positive change, I think, to not on page 4 of the subdivision land development ordinance, that's 2025-04, that we do not change the property notification distance to 500 feet. We leave it at 1,000 feet as in current ordinance. With that, I think we'll handle the zoning hearing board notification at a later time. I believe that'll need to be through an ordinance, but we can do that maybe at the end of the year for discussions with Scott. So originally, we didn't want to leave that hanging where there was different distances, but I think a couple months isn't going to hurt anybody if one is 1,000 and zoning hearing board is 500. So I recommended on page 4 of the subdivision land development ordinance that be not changed to 500, remains 1,000 feet for property notification. That's for sketch plans and preliminary plan submissions.
Can
That would
we
be-
pass it with that minor amendment?
Yeah, this one for the change to the saldo would not fall under what's considered, a substantial change.
As I understand it, it's currently 1,000.
It's
Right,
currently-
currently 1,000, so you're
we're
actually you're not changing it.
Okay.
And the subject matter was addressed, whereas that wasn't addressed in the zoning ordinance, so that would require a separate, back a little bit, a separate ordinance. There we go.
Okay.
So that would, we would have some more discovery and then talk about it as part of another zoning ordinance.
Correct.
It would be a minor clip. Yeah, we have, we had staff meeting last week, and there's a couple other smaller ordinances that we need to update to match all this stuff that we've done. So we'll do that at the end of the year, maybe for your adoption in January, once you go through reorganization for 2026. And then we can adopt a couple small ordinance modifications. So, and that could be one of them.
Okay, all right. So do I have a motion to consider adopting ordinance 2025-01 New Britain zoning amendments as printed and ordinance 2025-04 saldo amendments with the one change to leave it at 1,000 feet instead of changing it to 500 feet?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Are there any questions from the board? Are there any?
All questioned out on this one.
After how many months?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. It's big and complicated, so we're good to get here. Any questions from the public? Please come forward to the microphone, state your name and address.
Hello, I'm Terry Young. I live at 77 Walter Road in New Britain Township. Obviously a citizen of the township, and I'm also a member of the zoning hearing board. I was thrilled to hear that you've decided not to change the 500 to 1,000 foot amendment. I agree with that 100%, but I have some questions to put out and maybe some recommendations. As we sit on the zoning hearing board, we see a wide range of issues. Some of them are the individual who wants to put a 5x8 shed in his backyard. And it's only going to, we think about these things from the intent of these ordinances and what the impact is of the action is. You've got somebody putting this little shed back there. It's going to maybe impact the gentleman behind him because he's going to encroach a little bit on the offset for the back property boundary. But nobody else in the neighborhood is even going to know what's happening, and that's not going to impact anybody. Yet we are sending emails or letters to people within 500 feet of that property boundary. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but it seems like that's overkill because it's really not, you're not really impacting those people that we're addressing. The other end of that spectrum is the subdivision that's being built out in a very rural area, and you apply a 500 or 1,000 foot boundary condition on those as far as notification. You may only capture 4 or 5 neighbors depending on the density of the population. Seems to me as a township, we should be able to adjust the process, considering that there's no real law within Pennsylvania that says we have to mail anybody any distance from our property. That we should be able to adjust this thing to, customize our situation. Certainly the technology, the GIS technology that the township has you should be able to query any type of query you want and get the list of properties you need. Where it may make more sense to do 250 feet from the guy building the shed in his backyard, and it may be 1,500 feet from the person or the company that's building a subdivision, because you're going to impact traffic and drainage, maybe the aquifer, or whatever the case may be. And those implications, those impacts would be felt from a broader population, a larger population. So I'd like to see the township consider something like this going forward. Obviously, I would never want to stop this thing from passing tonight. I'm thrilled you guys are going to pass it this evening. I think that's the right thing to do. But from a thought process, maybe a way one of saving the township a little bit of money on these mailings that are going out where we're overkilling it, but also making sure we're staying with the intent of what these ordinances are and letting people that are going to be impacted know what's happening. And I'll just finish by saying I want to applaud the township and especially the staff for how they did this over the last couple of years. This is really a good example, I think, best practices. And you involved a lot of people with different perspectives. It takes a lot of patience and hard work to make that happen. I think you guys deserve a round of applause and a lot of, good graces of the citizens. We're doing all that. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Terry. We'll take that under consideration for the next round. Okay, any other questions or concerns from the public? No. So the motion stands. I shall call the question. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Sorry. Little round of applause for that one. It's been a long time coming. I think it deserves cake. Okay, action item C, consider a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-02, the responsible contractor ordinance. Scott.
Yes, this is another ordinance you've been talking about for a couple of months. We have our final draft here for you. We've made some changes that have been recommended and considered by the board at their different meetings. And so you should choose. It's ready for action here tonight.
Okay. I shall consider a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-02, responsible contractor ordinance. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Well, second.
Okay, any questions from the board? No? Any questions from the public? No? So then I shall call the question. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Nay. Motion passes 3-2. Sorry, Bill. The intent was there. Okay, action item D, consider a motion to advertise ordinance 2025-03 EAC amendment. Scott.
Yes, this is a new ordinance I prepared for you from the May meeting, where there was some consideration of the board to, just get to it real quick. Consideration of the board to increase some of the responsibilities of the EAC as it relates to land preservation. My understanding in talking with staff and some of the board members is this was considered when the EAC amendment was first adopted. However, some of this language was taken out potentially from a standpoint of thinking about doing a separate land preservation committee. I looked through different ordinances in the area as well as some other land preservation entities that in municipalities I represent, and it came forward with this for your consideration to increase the responsibilities as it relates to finding properties for preservation and or conservation easements for your consideration.
Okay. Do I have a motion to advertise ordinance 2025-03 EAC amendment?
I happily make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any questions from the board for Scott? No?
I just wanted to clarify, so this would allow the EAC to identify the properties and then hand that information over to the township. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes.
So the idea of the land preservation process is you have other places have different names for it. Here we have the we'll have the EAC doing it. But basically, yeah, they go out, research properties, find people willing to, as well as provide scores so you can evaluate whether this is a property that the township would be interested in obtaining an easement over for conservation purposes.
Okay, yeah, especially since we haven't developed an open space commission that I think was supposed to happen. This makes sense for the EAC to look over that and at least advise a township on what properties would be valuable for preservation.
Questions from the board? No? Let's see. No? Any questions from the public? No? Okay, I shall call.
wait.
Oh, sorry. Please come forward.
Hello, Mike Coleman, 52 Cedar Hill Road, Chalfont, as well 138 Walter Road in Chalfont as well. So I wanted to applaud the EAC for their help working with the board here to make progress on the open space initiative. I can tell you, owning 70, I guess 100 some acres now, because we just bought the Milk House Market. So it gives us 101 acres right in that area there. And I can tell you that we're super excited to be actively farming. In fact, I just came from baling hay and was able to take a quick shower, thankfully for you. Yes, and I know there's quite a bit of money in the open space bucket, so to speak. I think it might be close to $5 million if I'm not sure. I heard it was over 4, right? How much, do we know how much is in that?
Over 3, but it's not 4 yet.
Not for.
Not 4, okay. I can tell you, at least, I'd like to see an accounting of that if we could, to see where it has been spent, and just so we understand how much money we have to work with. I've offered to be a member or a supporting member of, I guess, the EAC and or kind of a landowner that would be willing to go and talk to folks about preservation. I can tell you firsthand, I have tremendous experience with it. In fact, we're looking at another property. We approached a property owner on, it wasn't even on the market, and they were super eager and anxious to help us to preserve it. So anyway, all that said, I'm happy to help as what I can so we can actually use that money to good use, because if we don't, the land is disappearing faster than we can imagine. And I don't think we need to wait for the county. I know there's some issues there with a county project plan of some sort, but let's get started now, and I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sure the EAC will be talking to your friends in the community that, you know, that would like to maybe preserve their upcoming properties. Thank you. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. I shall call the question. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Action item E, consider a motion to adopt resolution 2025-08 preliminary final land development plans for Spotless Brands.
Yep. So here you have a land development plan for the Spotless Brands Car Wash down on the corner of Butler Avenue and County Line Road. Here on behalf of the applicant is Attorney Dave Shafkowitz. You've seen this project before. Obviously, they came in with a sketch plan. You've seen it. It's pretty straightforward in terms of review from Craig. I'll let him provide any comments, but largely, you know, you've seen it. Unless the board here has additional questions, you might be ready for action. So I'll let Craig provide a little color.
Thanks, Scott. We started this project, looks like back in, I'm sure they started earlier than when I saw it, but in the summer of 2024, they appeared in front of the planning commission with a sketch plan. This was the former Dunkin' Donuts, which got approval or zoning approval and didn't proceed. So they switched gears, and we first saw that planning commission on September 24th. There was many reviews, and I think at least 3. And then he went back to planning commission again, and eventually received a recommendation for a preliminary final back in June. So Scott and myself prepared the draft resolution in front of you for approval. I don't know, I believe everything's a will comply in that. And I have no other additional comments other than it was a pleasure working with them to come up with, hopefully you have the renderings in your packet. I don't know, do you have any renderings with you or anything or not? You do? Okay, maybe for the residents, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. It's a unique car wash. I drove by one not too long ago where it was pink with flashing lights. And I felt like I was heading into the city and I was not heading into the city. So they heard that loud and clear to try to keep with the Bucks County feel. And I think we did a good job on that. The board has the packet, so if you want to show,
But you can
you guys should have it.
Leave it up here at this point.
There you go.
So we got some Bucks County stone, some black and white theme going. I know the applicants here tonight. I don't know if you want to mention anything, John. This is the first is it in Pennsylvania or just in this area for a car wash?
Be the first in Spain, yes.
Okay, so, I don't have any other comments. We've worked out all the issues. PennDOT went through several reviews, and any of the conditions that I had are in your resolution and are ready for your adoption tonight.
How about, can you explain a little bit more about the welcome sign that we sort of negotiated?
Yes,
For the corner?
they've agreed as part of the Butler Overlay Corridor improvements to do a welcome to New Britain Township sign. It's on one of the renderings. Right now it's shown as stone with black, welcome to New Britain Township. Most likely we'll end up with a seal on there. The design has not been worked out. Part of the conditions in the resolution that they'll submit a design detail. Staff will look at it. It'll make an appearance in front of this board, I'm assuming. And I don't think it'll be an issue. I'm assuming they want to install it and construct at the same time. So we do have deadlines in there when they need to have that done and approved, but I think that will be within their construction sequence. So, but that's just a rendering of it. There hasn't been any input other than what they presented, and you'll have a chance to look at the design and have any feedback on that design. So,
Do we have any idea what the timeline might be for construction?
should you say immediately?
Out to,
Soon.
all right, submit this building drawings.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, October.
Yeah, so that's doable for it. I mean, PennDOT, there really isn't any obstacles with that. I say that now, but you never know. I think they're past all that. So really it's just on our end with building and then cleaning up the few items left. So the fall construction, you should see that. I'm assuming, I mean, be honest with you, demolition is a separate permit, so you could probably start on that immediately and work with building code on that. So this fall.
So do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2025-08 preliminary final land development plans for Spotless Brands LLC?
So moved.
Bill, do I have a second?
Second.
Stephanie? Any other questions from the board?
Not a question, just a comment that I sincerely appreciate the time you took to design it and make it look in the character of our township, because this is the prettiest car wash I've ever seen. So, and I've passed many a hideous eyesore, and I know they do the job and they're needed, but it's nice to have it be very attractive.
All right. Any other questions from the board, from the public? No? So that be, we will call the question. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Action item F, consider a motion to approve the recommended fuel to award the fuel bid. Dan?
Yes, every year the Bucks County Consortium goes out to bid for fuel. This year, there's two low bidders for different products. So we were recommending that the low qualified bidder is Thomas Logistics for unleaded regular and ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. And for number 2 heating oil, it's OPIS. I'm sorry, it's Sports Petroleum.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the recommendation for the fuel bid for 2025?
I'll make that motion.
Mary Beth, do I have a second?
Second.
Stephanie, any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? No? I shall call the question. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion carries. I was just picking my fuel today too. Okay, departmental reports. Dan, Finance.
Yes, thank you. In front of you, you have the 6:30 finance report. I'm happy to say that we're continuing along the same trends as we have been, where revenues are outpacing 2024's numbers and expenditures are less than at the same point in time for 2025. So basically, we've collected 61% of revenue year to date, and we've expended 47% of our expenditure, which kind of indicates from the expenditure side that we're tracking pretty much on budget. Now, some expenses come in at the beginning of the year, some are later in the year, so that kind of fluctuates. But the goal is, we want to be under 100% budget. I'd like to come in around 92%.
Yep.
Of budgeted number for expenses, and honestly, for revenue, I'd like to see us come in at like 105%. But we still have ways to go, but we're tracking it, and year to date, we're looking pretty good. So I'd be happy to answer any specific questions. One area that we were tracking very closely, we continue, is the real estate transfers. We're a little concerned about the existing real estate transfer because of the high interest rates in the market. There's a lack of inventory. But if you notice, we're basically right under 50% what we budgeted for the year. And in June, for June's transfers, we got an $88,000 check, which is our three biggest months will be June, July, August, and then December usually comes in, but we usually get that in January. So people like to move right before Christmas, and we're during the summer for school. So it looks like that concern may have waned a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board?
Dealing with that, are things pretty consistent coming from the High Point development?
Oh, yeah.
They're selling?
Yes, they are.
All right.
Yeah, that's why you can see that the new transfers would probably double budget. So, yeah, they're selling it, and they're selling at a good clip and a nice piece of change too. They're going for somewhere between 650 and 750. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the public? No? Okay, Park and Rec.
Yeah, they're busy cutting grass.
A lot of grass.
Between all the rain, the heat, and the humidity, the grass and the weeds are growing like it's on fire. But they are keeping up with their normal activities, but it's grass cutting season for them. That's what they're out there doing. So.
Public Works.
Yes, as you can see from Ryan's report, he put a couple pictures down there of the Keller Road Bridge repair. We've gotten one side of the abutment taken care of, and so on the other side, there's a little bit of back and forth with DEP regarding whether that's considered an emergency. DEP was under the impression that township did not get that permitted when we originally did it back in '96. But we found the permit and let them know. They thought that both those gabion basket, both sides were not permitted and were considered an obstruction. They are wrong. Now, we took care of the side that collapsed. That was the other side is not collapsed. But we will go in and finish the project. We do have a general permit to do that. Go in and finish it, get rid of the gabion baskets on the other side, but we're gonna let the stream kind of to the side a little. There's all this heavy rain, they've been working in a lot of water, so we want to let it go down to at least where the sandbags can divert it successfully, because that's what they're doing, basically divert the channel sandbag by work on the ones.
And the change in the expectation that we hadn't permitted had not changed the permit that we have now. No overages or anything like that. Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board about Public Works?
No.
I would like to thank them very much for bringing out all our wonderful big trucks and everything for the 4th of July parade, and for the whole team, both Public Works and Park and Rec, for being part of the support for the first time.
And our police department.
Well, I've gotten to the police yet, they're next. doing each individual rather than a big blanket one. So, okay. Chief,
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you for supporting tonight's appointment and promotion. It's much appreciated. You have my report in front of you. A couple of highlights. We do have Sergeant Mitchie retiring next Friday. There'll be a luncheon, small ceremony at 11:30 out in the pavilion. So everyone is welcome to attend that. Also, there was one thing. Oh, I'm working on your photo array. We do have one that was drafted, and we just need to add Officer Ford to it, and we're going to redesign it a little bit.
you had some new events today. So,
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
some new changes.
Wonderful. And so also, thank you very much for all the support that you had for 4th of July parade. It went very smoothly. So
Yes, it did.
any other questions for Chief from the board? No? From the public? No? Okay, engineers report. Craig.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Couple updates. I just received word on Friday that the 4-lot residential subdivision on Berry Road by WB Homes, they finally worked out their issues with PennDOT. We had several engineering meetings just to try to work out what PennDOT was requiring. And that was resolved with them, and then PennDOT did sign off. So I anticipate they'll be resubmitting, and Planning Commission Board should see that probably in the next few months. We have a couple other very small projects that are going to be submitted as a waiver of land development. One's a canopy attached to existing building at 1600 Manor Drive. And then I don't have yet the information. There's a loading dock for existing building in High Point. They just want to add a loading dock, but it impacts their parking. At staff meeting, we reviewed all those, and we all support submitting them as a waiver of land development. There's really very minimal impact, if any. And they will just come to you for approval, but we would like to have them not go just a building permit, but for you at least to see them, and we'll Scott will prepare a resolution for approval for that. So they may be ready for August or September. And then we had a staff meeting, which didn't make it to my engineer's report, with a potential developer of the properties along County Line, Walnut Street, and Schoolhouse Road, known as the Stewart property, I think some people call it. The Chamonix Creek branch of that goes through there. So it hasn't been developed because a lot of the property is on the other side, and no one wants to build a bridge and try to get to the other side. So there is industrial company, actually a development company that would like to build industrial by right buildings. We don't have any information yet. They just presented very briefly to staff as far as what their ideas were, but it was all by right warehouse buildings. One item that was discussed that all truck traffic would have to go out to County Line Road and then out to 309, and they didn't seem to have an issue with that. They anticipated that, but hopefully when we get a plan in, you'll see that hopefully within the next couple of weeks.
So at the moment, that property, is it the part that's being farmed is where they want to put?
Yes,
the-
it appears, yes, most of it's being farmed. I'm not sure. Mr. Coleman may know who or if he does it, but there's 4 parcels, 90 acres. The floodplain takes up quite a bit of the property. I was looking at it today. I think they are talking about around 600,000 square feet of warehouse, all spec building, no tenants yet. So it's going to be a long process for that.
Not in one building.
No,
3 buildings.
3 buildings.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That traffic has to go out to County Line and can't come on.
Yeah, they agreed to that that wasn't even an issue. Yeah, so they're very limited where they can put it, so this will be a nice one for the AC. There's a lot going on in that property. So,
But this is just very high level.
very high level.
Things been
Yes.
submitted.
If you want to, eventually we have more information, I'm sure, Dan will circulate that, and then anticipate probably September. I mean, I guess we talked about August, but right now I still haven't gotten the plan, so they would like to come and present just their ideas to the board before any hard engineering, so.
Right, any other questions for our engineer? No. No? None from the public? Okay. Board of Supervisors comments. Who wants to start? You looked at me first. Stephanie?
I mean, I think we covered the main things. So thank you for all of the hard work from all of our township staff, for the parade. We couldn't do it without all of the different departments that participated. Thank you, Chief, for your guidance and making sure that, we had the appropriate security in place for the day. Thank you to Mike Coleman for driving the tractor and having, so that we didn't all have to walk, much appreciated. It's really great to have a parade like that in our town. It really represents what our community is all about. So I appreciate everyone's hard work for that.
I would tag on to Stephanie's and the fact that this is really a community parade. It's not a big regional parade. I mean, Doylestown puts their Memorial Day parade, but that's huge as far as, bands and everything else. Whereas this is more regional just for our municipal area. And the number of people that come out for it, as well as the number of groups that are involved in it, I think says a lot for the community.
Absolutely. Mary Beth?
Just reiterate, thanks to everyone that worked it. Came off well with the planning that goes into it. No one really notices or knows about it, but it does take a lot of planning, and do appreciate that. I appreciate the work of our staff, solicitor, engineer, manager, assistant to the manager, event planner, to pull it together and remind everyone that we will be putting on our next big event in a mere 2 months, and that's Fall Fest on September 20th.
Bridget?
Well, Mary Beth stole what I was going to lead with, which is mark your calendars for September 20th for the Fall Fest, another fun community event that will hopefully go as wonderfully as our 4th of July parade went. And it was great seeing all the residents. It was on a Friday on the 4th of July. I honestly thought we wouldn't have very many people, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see how many of our residents came out. And on a more serious note, we've been noticing a lot of what major weather events recently. So be mindful of that. Please don't drive in a flooded area or Chalfont Fire, even though they showed that wonderful swiftwater rescue boat in the parade. I'm sure they don't want to use it with, unless absolutely necessary. I'm sure our EMS, that's wonderful, doesn't want to have to come out and rescue everyone. So please continue to be safe as you vacation this summer and with the weather and hurricane season, which inevitably pushes storms up front. Well, it does. So just be safe.
Yes, I'd like to thank all the staff and actually all our residents as well. It was wonderful to be able to be part of the residents that were there. That's the reason why we put these parades and events on. Thinking forward a year, we have the semi-quincentennial next year, and maybe we should think about our 4th of July parade and have more of a theme, not just 4th of July, but actually, if anybody would like to participate, let's think forward about what we would like to make that a big bang for the year.
250th anniversary.
250th anniversary.
I see an opportunity for a committee. I know a bunch of people left over from the 300th that we didn't get to put on. But we have a lot of plans left over.
Well, the plans could be part of the Fall Fest, which could coming up. So maybe we should have an ad hoc, let the board think about having an ad hoc committee in thinking about what events we have next year and how we would like to focus them on the semi-quincentennial. So, okay. Now we are on to public comment. Please come forward and state your name if you would like to have any public comment. There was a little prod there.
Holly Bolito again, 209 Wiltshire in Britton Township. Would like to introduce our new chief of EMS, Cliff Mungavin, and our new assistant chief, Justin Tuttle.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So can I ask who you come from and how long have you been here now?
Yeah, so I came from Warrington Township. I've been in EMS management for 10 years. So 5 of which was at Warrington and the other 5 were in the city of Trenton.
Okay.
So I came from right around the corner. I live in Doylestown Township, so I'm pretty familiar with this area.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I work full-time for Bucks County also. I work for 911. I spent most of my EMS career in this area between Warminster, Chalfont. I even worked in Bristol and Bensalem for a few years. I currently live in Hilltown, so we're both very close and have a lot of experience.
Wonderful. And do we even ask about the 911 outage that just happened?
I was not part of that. I'm not take any responsibility.
But when that happens, there is a Bucks County non-emergency number that you can call directly. There we go. So, which is?
Oh, there's a lot of
It goes by area.
We push out all that information on our social media and everything as well.
Yeah.
There we go. That's where we'll
They're on
point
Facebook
people
and
to.
everything.
Okay. Terrific. Well, welcome to the area. We look forward to seeing you again soon when we have a annual meeting. So terrific.
Likewise.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Cool. All right. Any other public comment? No? All right. Announcements. The next planning commission meeting, which was Tuesday, July 22nd, has been cancelled. The next board of supervisors meeting. Dan, do we need to have that meeting or shall we cancel it? We do not. Shall we cancel the meeting on Monday, August 4th? The next Environmental Advisory Council meeting will be on Wednesday, August 6th at 7 p.m. And mobile office hours for Representative Labs and Representative Monroe will be here in this room on Wednesday, August 13th at 10 a.m. Any constituent services? Now's the time to come in on those days. Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8 o'clock?
So
There you go. Moved by Stephanie, second by Bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much and see you next month.
The meeting is?
August 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m.